What is up, everybody, and welcome to the Adult Crash Podcast. With your host, Jordo, and my man's Frankie boy over here, where we talk about stuff revolving around games and musics and movies and comics and
I thought
general goonery.
I thought you were gonna stop at stuff where we talk about stuff.
Check it out, y'all. We talk about stuff and things. Bet. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right, man. I was telling you earlier I was pretty dead.
Yeah,
but I'm good.
Same Z's. But
it's a very important day because Godzilla versus Kong is on HBO Max.
Ooh, all right. Fuck yeah.
I'm planning on watching that after we're done doing this.
Nice. Yeah, I watched some weird shit this week, and I got some stuff on my watch list that I put on there that I should probably watch soon. But I watched a very, very, very odd anime last night. Called
It looks so weird.
Dude, I was looking for something to just waste some time because like we were cooking shit last night, so I didn't really want to like get super invested in something. So there's on Crunchyroll there's a bunch of shorts, stuff that's like under 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
And this one was called Banana. It's about cats that are hybrid bananas. They're cats that live inside bananas. They're born out of bananas. And they all have hijinks. And it's ridiculous. But yeah, that's what I watched most recently. Aside from other stupid shit. But I don't know. I literally like watched. I put it on and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then like I watched the whole series in one sitting. Granted, it's 3-minute episodes, so it's right up my alley for attention span. But it was like,
100%.
yeah, but it was just weird shit. It's like, and there's like an underlying like weird storyline to the whole thing where like each cat is like becoming like more self-aware that they're a banana. I don't know, dude. Anime is fucking strange. I don't get it.
It's really weird. I don't watch it.
I like some anime, but this was on like, was it Demir always gives me an ignorance scale when it comes to us writing music, where he's like he puts E-Town Concrete on one side and he puts Cro-Mags on the other, and he's like, we got to be somewhere in the middle if you want to do anything that's your kind of stupid. You can't go too far this way, but if we're somewhere in the middle, we can do it.
All right. I don't know anything about the guys in E-Town Concrete, but if we're talking about ignorance,
yeah,
I would say that Cro-Mags is pretty. I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah. See this. Granted, though, this scale. Hi, Beth. You creep.
Hey, Beth.
Just
welcome.
Creeping in. Fucking weirdo. Hey. Oh, now you let dogs in here? Go outside. Go outside. Go. Anyway. Huh? Yeah. Bye. Fucking creep. She only did that because, like, I scare her in the house so much, and she's trying to scare me, which she didn't do. But anyway.
Dude, I scare Ashley all the time.
Dude, like, I can literally walk into a room and Beth will jump out of her skin.
Yeah, like, last night, it was like 2 a.m, and Ashley had to pee, and coincidentally, I also woke up and had to pee as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was following her to the bathroom. She went to the bathroom. And I was about to knock on the door, and she opened the bathroom door, jumped, yelled at me and then went back to bed. I was like, I was knocking on the door to let you know I was there. Like, why are you getting mad at me?
I thought that story was gonna go. She went to go pee in the dark, and I went in there and didn't see her and didn't turn the light on, and I just started peeing. I thought that's how that story was gonna go.
That's not how that went.
No, and I'm glad it didn't, because that would have been a lot worse. And you probably wouldn't be,
terrible.
and you wouldn't be telling that story to the
No, I
internet.
wouldn't.
No. But I'm glad that worked out for you.
Me too.
But no, like fucking, what were we talking about? Before I was so
I don't remember.
rudely interrupted.
We were talking about E-Town Concrete.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, like, this scale that Demir came up with was pre-pandemic, so like before Cro-Mag members went crazy.
Nah, you know what? They were both crazy.
They were, but isolation
both
did
been
not
crazy,
help.
man.
Dude, over the last year, like, isolation did not help a lot of people. Because, granted, if you get a crazy idea and you go to happy hour with your friends and you start talking about it, they're gonna be like, "Oh, stop that." There was no stop that for, like, the majority of the population. Like, I have people that I wholeheartedly, like, respect in my personal life. At first, send me that Plandemic video, and I was like, "Yo, bro, nah, like, no." And then about 5 hours later, they were like, "Yeah, yo, you're right." Like, because it's easy to get fucking wrapped up in stuff just because you don't have anyone to bounce off of, and you just sit there and,
Exactly.
you read and read and read and read.
And that's the thing, man. You got to bounce stuff off people. I'm covered in paint. And you see that.
I do.
It's all over my legs.
Ugh.
Yeah.
You're a dirty, dirty boy.
I mean, I've showered twice since I painted, and it's just not coming off.
Oh, well, you're a tiger now.
It's the super strong exterior, like, metal paint.
Oh. Yeah,
That's why.
you're boned. That's never coming off.
Yep. Anyway,
we might as well get tattoos covered up.
hey,
Hey.
have you listened to the new Warren record?
Oh, I listened to like 2 songs off of it because somebody was like, it's like Japanese hardcore worship, and I was like, I don't really hear that at all.
I don't hear that at all.
I liked it, but I went
dude.
into it with someone giving me like the very wrong impression of what it
Description?
should be. Yeah.
That's wrong.
Yeah, I was expecting to listen like Systemic Death or something like that. Or like was that band Deathside?
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting when they were like, "Yeah, man, like it has this." And I was like, "You don't listen to that music." At all. But no, I really fucked with it. I thought Warren was really good. I haven't listened to the whole EP yet, or LP.
It's an LP. I've listened to it multiple times in the past few days. I really like it.
I've been that way with the new Age of Apocalypse and Path of Truth split.
Oh yeah.
I think those Age of Apocalypse songs are way better than what was on the LP, which I love the LP. Well, no, sorry, it's not an LP. It's an EP with a demo. Yeah, it's an EP with the demo. But those songs are hard as shit. Like, really good.
I have revisited Age of Apocalypse since we first talked about them.
Yeah.
And, whoo boy, I have come around.
Oh, really? Fan. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, it's, honestly, like, when I first heard it, I heard them on that One Scene Unity compilation.
Well, that's the best song. That's their best song.
It's a good one. Yeah.
The song on that comp, excuse me, is their best song.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I guess what happened was it stood out the most on that record, and I was like, who the fuck is this? Just because I started hearing those, like, oh, her kind of fucking vocals, and I'm like, what the hell? This rules. And I think we were talking about it in, like, an unaired episode.
Yes.
But, like, I really liked the the like Only Living Witness sounding kind of vocals.
Oh yeah.
Because I know like when people first listen to Twitching Tongues, they kind of have the same vibe where they're like, oh, I don't know about the singing stuff, and it's like, dude, like normalize singing in hardcore if you can fucking do it.
Yeah. I try to give people's vocalists breaks. It's like vocals can make or break a band for like everybody.
Yeah.
And being the Reality Check was nobody's favorite band, largely because of my vocals. So
yeah.
So it's like I try to give everybody a break because I'm like, hey man, that shit's hard.
I've had such a weird I guess like so I haven't sang the same in any band that I've done vocals in. Like I've had a different singing approach to every band. My first band has always been the one that people are like, that you sounded the best in.
I don't think I've ever listened to that band.
Don't bother. But it was the one where people like when they saw that I was like vocally, like I got told this like a couple times when we were on tour, that I was a 7 or 18-year-old 160-pound kid. People were surprised when they saw us play because they were like, oh, I didn't expect you to be a child because of how you sounded on the record. So I had a much more like strong, prominent, powerful voice. And I never really did that again until like I wanted to do that for X Hour, and I was told not to, but we won't get into that.
No.
The vocal style I thought would have been better for that music. But whatever, I get to try something else, and I like that part of being creative. But you're right. Vocals can make or break any style of music. And when I was doing those thrash bands, the only thing that people kept saying was like, yeah, he's trying to sound like Kurt from DRI. That was a backhanded compliment, I think. But it was like I didn't have my own fucking voice. It was just, it is what it is.
Yeah. So so with Age of Apocalypse, it's like right up my alley, So I was like,
that's why I was surprised when you said you didn't like it.
I was like, yeah. So the first time I listened to it, I was like, well, I mean, I don't really like him. And then I was like, you know what? I sat back and I was like, people probably said that about my vocals, and I know how hard me and Germ worked when we wrote Axis of Evil.
Yeah.
Like, we worked really hard over the course of a couple of years, and like when we put it out, and people were like actively dissing it on Twitter, talking about how bad it was, and I was just like, dude, I broke my fucking back writing this record, and you're gonna like they probably listened to one song and were like, this sucks.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to be like that with Age of Apocalypse, so I went back. I listened to that Split song, or not the Split song, the one that was on the compilation.
Yeah.
That song blew, like, that first listen, that song blew me away. Yeah. I was like, all right, let's dive the fuck in. And, it's like, that's like my style, dude. I fucking love Life of Agony. I mean, I think, I forget how much Life of Agony means to me. I don't have that many tattoos, but of the ones that I have 2 Life of Agony tattoos. That band means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So that specific style is very much my thing. I love Only Living Witness. I also love Twitching Tongues. I just like pretty singing. It's fun, Well,
yeah, also with how much you liked The Beautiful Ones. That's the other reason why I was I'm surprised you don't like this band.
Yeah, so I went back.
Good.
So I went back. Spent some time with it, and I was like, damn, this is sick. And they have a new LP coming soon.
Yeah, they do.
That Taylor Young produced, or he mixed for them.
I am very, very excited for that.
Me too, man. I can't wait to hear that shit.
Yeah, because I think they're one of the more unique hardcore bands right now. Or they at least got their own sound, I think.
Yeah.
Like, when shows come back, I cannot imagine the type of sing-along-y nonsense that's going to be happening.
Oh yeah,
which is like a thing I really miss about old hardcore shows, is like how it would just be like 70% of the room up front trying to sing all the lyrics.
Yeah.
But, that's old man thing, I guess.
I mean, like, that was still a thing when I was getting into hardcore, like, in the early 2010s, So, like, it's only it's because people don't write lyrics that resonate anymore, I think. Or it's that people aren't taking the time to learn the lyrics.
I'm wondering if it's well, that could be one thing too, because a lot of people are listening to bands based off of like Spotify and stuff like that and Bandcamp, and 90% of the time you're listening to it while you're moving around and you're not going to sit down and read the lyrics, but it doesn't take a lot of time to listen to the breakdown.
It's true.
And I feel like more bands now are like structuring, I mean, this might be a broad brush, but I feel like more bands, because of that, they know I'm going to write music that'll get a physical reaction out of people.
That's exactly what it is,
as opposed to like a lyrical one out of people. Unless it's the mosh call, because everyone knows that part.
It's like, it's something that I've noticed over the years. Like, songwriting, I think, has taken a turn for the worst, because like people are just writing to write mosh parts. Learn how to write a fucking song. Yeah, we're gonna write hard riffs because we're not idiots. We love hard riffs, but like, this music is not specifically just to mosh to. This shit is
big brain,
big brain shit. That's exactly right.
Yeah. No,
like come on, dude. Yeah. Dude, I love a mosh riff. I love a fight riff. Like, I'm not trying to hate on it, but if that's like all you're doing and there's nothing peppered in there to chop it up, it's boring.
It can be.
It's so boring.
Well, it's like there's certain types of bands that I don't give I would not listen to unless it's in a live setting. Like, I really don't listen to grind bands on the reg. Like, I listen to them when I'm at shows, because I really enjoy, being at a show listening to grind or power violence or any of that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I damn sure am not going to buy a fucking tape to listen to noise. Like,
oh, hell no.
No. I'm not going to be like, yeah, man, you know what? It's Tuesday afternoon. I got my tea. I'm going to sit outside. I'm going to listen to some fucking... oh, fuck. Why can't I think of the guy's name? The Japanese guy that does the crazy noise sets.
Warfare.
I don't know. No, my brain keeps saying, like, Burzum, but it's not Burzum. I know that for a fucking fact, but it's like something with a Z. Anyway,
that's another genre that pisses me off. Noise.
I get the performance art of it, right?
Yes, 100%. And the quality of anti-music, I love that.
Yeah,
it's
in a live setting, in a performance art
setting.
Yeah.
It's like I love rebellion. It's awesome. You're rebelling against the structures of songwriting, and I fucking dig that, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Well, yeah, it's like I wouldn't listen to the audio of a wrestling match for the same reason I wouldn't listen to the audio of a noise set. It's like you have to see it. You have to see what's going on, or you have to have really good commentary of what's going on.
Have you seen that movie Bird Box?
No.
So, like, you can't, like, look at the light or whatever because it turns you crazy or whatever, but...
Like, is that what's her name?
Sandra Bullock.
The Sandra Bullock's movie, yeah.
Yeah. It's a Netflix movie. It was good. I liked it. But, so there's, like, a whole sect of people that are, like, trying to get people to look at the light to, like, be, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Rescued or whatever. But, like... Somebody took the image of the guy pulling somebody's eye open and said, when they hand you the aux cord and you put on Psy Warfare.
Oh, that's great. That's
dude,
great.
that shit killed me. Like, I saw Psy Warfare live, and like, good for Dwid.
Not my thing. Good for you. Not my thing. Like.
You know what I think it was for me? That's the night that I drank the pre-workout to see In Cold Blood. And I was kind of I was raring to go, and I was like, all right, Dwid, let's get to In Cold Blood, please.
I was so tired that night. I don't know what happened. I was super fucking sleepy.
Oh, I had a great time that night.
It was fun. I was just really tired. I think I ended up leaving not early, but I left after the first, because I know Integrity played like everything from Humanity is the Devil.
Yeah.
And once they played all that, I was like, all right, I'm going to go. Not because I don't fuck with Integrity, but like it had been a long night and I was tired and they played all the shit I wanted to hear. So that's my favorite Integrity record, stereotypically.
Mm-hmm. My favorite is Seasons in the Size of Days.
That one I've never really gotten that hard into.
Dude, you just gotta sit with it and listen.
Yeah.
Because Frank Novinec wrote it, and that's the dude that's in Hatebreed now.
Mm-hmm.
He's also the guitar. He was a guitar player in Ringworm when they put out Birth is Pain, which is their best record, hands down, best Ringworm record. Birth is Pain.
Okay.
I stand by it. And yeah, he's just because when they did Seasons in the Size of Days, oh God, what's the other guitar player of Integrity's name? I cannot believe.
Oh,
Aaron Melnick?
Dumb. No, I'm kidding.
Fuck. I think Aaron Melnick.
Oh, that's the one with the weird like spooky cover.
Yeah.
The 97 one?
Yes.
Yeah, because, sorry, Humanity is the Devil and Those Who Fear Tomorrow are the two that I listen to on a regular basis. I'm just looking. I'm looking at their discography right now.
Right. So Aaron Melnick started In Cold Blood, and when they wrote Hell on Earth, I mean, Aaron was still in Integrity, but basically he let Frank write Seasons in the Size of Days.
Mm-hmm.
So because In Cold Blood wrote Hell on Earth, Frank wrote Seasons in the Size of Days, basically. Like, Aaron focused all of his attention on Hell on Earth,
mm-hmm.
and that left room for Frank to write Seasons in the Size of Days. And those two are my two favorite albums from either band. So it's like, because one band started, I got one of my favorite Integrity records, and I also got one of my favorite hardcore records of all time.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
So,
I'm really bad at remembering specific names of people that make music.
Me too.
Although a few days ago, it was the anniversary of when Dave Mustaine made that status on his Facebook about him spilling his smoothie on his pants. Have you seen this?
Fuck?
So
No, I have not seen this.
there's a post that Dave Mustaine made about going to get a smoothie, and his words. Hold on, you know what? I'll just pull it up because I don't want to not do this justice. Because I hate this man. I hate him so much. So any chance
you know Jeremy has him blocked on Twitter?
You mean Dave Mustaine blocked Jeremy,
Well,
or other way around?
Dave Mustaine blocked Jeremy.
What a fucking loser.
He's like, Jeremy spent like weeks talking about how, like, tweeting at Dave Mustaine, like, hey, daily reminder that you suck or whatever. And I guess Jeremy just did it too many times and he fucking blocked him.
That's hilarious. You know what,
For
man?
For listeners at home, Jeremy is my brother and our bandmate.
Yeah. So, all right. So this was posted March 28th, 2013 by Dave Shitbag Mustaine. Had a mixed berry smoothie for brekkie. And then I dropped it. Now my blue jeans are having a smoothie. Exclamation point. Grr with 3 R's. Exclamation point. Fuck him.
I've got
I fucking hate this human so much.
Yeah.
And now, like, anytime he start, like, I remember there was, like, he was doing some interviews a few years after that. I have a friend that posts it every year. It's like, happy anniversary. Dave Mustaine spilled a smoothie on himself. Hello, jeans. Meet the wet jeans. But he had some interview where he was talking about, like, people who talk shit on him and all this other stuff. And I was like, dude, you're a grown man that said brekkie. Like,
Hey man,
I can't.
say
I
brekkie.
can't. Yeah, but you don't go on the internet talking about beating people up.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I don't take you seriously. Now, if Brock Lesnar's walking around going like, yeah, man, I had some brekkie this afternoon while I sat and, pet a small fawn, I'd be like, well, that's more terrifying. Because you're big and terrifying.
He is terrifying.
Dave Mustaine is just a fucking shit.
I have a pretty funny story about Dave Mustaine.
Shoot.
No, because it kind of reveals that I'm a terrible person. So
That's fine. All right, we'll leave that out. I make jokes about him at his expense any chance I get.
Well, I made a joke at his expense, and it was like the day that he announced that he had cancer.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll just leave it. We'll just leave it at that. But I fucking hate Megadeth, and I hate Dave Mustaine.
Yeah, no. I get why people really like them and riffs or whatever, but
nope.
I always wonder, like, the end game of Megadeth was to be better than Metallica, but
and they weren't.
They're still number 2. Like,
yeah, dude, they're like number
musically. Sure, you know what? Dave Mustaine writes way better riffs than Kirk Hammett or fucking James Hetfield. Fine. Commercially, what? You're like still not that big.
So here's my thing. Like, I don't like to judge things based on commercial value because just because something's big and popular does not mean it's good. For example, Batman Returns is a very popular comic book movie. It is one of the worst comic book movies ever made. Fuck that fucking movie.
I had fun with it.
I mean, it's fun, but it's bad. Like,
yeah.
If you're going in analytically,
look,
it's bad.
Metallica's The Black Album is not a great record, but it's a fun record.
No. Yeah. It's garbage. Bob Rock ruined Metallica.
No, I agree, but like
he was like, guys, you guys don't need to write cool riffs. You just need to write like one riff and then build the song off of that, and then it'll be more palatable and commercially successful. And they were like, oh, cool, money, and then they became fucking money hungry bitches.
But it worked though. That's the problem. So like, I know Dave Mustaine's whole thing was be more successful than Metallica, right?
And they never were.
They never were. Because Metallica was like, you know what? We can appeal to like army wives and guys that put up drywall. And and all we got to do is just make the song shorter. And that's it. We got to make the song shorter. We got to make them less complicated. We got to make them more palatable to a wide open audience, to middle America, right? That's what you got to do. No shit talking about it. That's just the reality of what it is. It's just that's why Five Finger Death Punch is fucking as popular as they are, because they appeal to I agree. They appeal to middle America, right?
Yeah.
So
true.
Megadeth never fucking wanted to do that, right? They were like, metal superior. I'm gonna keep making all these songs the way I want to make them. That's my Dave Mustaine impression.
That's a really good Dave Mustaine impression.
Thank you. So, and that attitude will really only get you so far. It's kind of the reason why most rock music isn't as popular as it could be, because it is stuck in tradition and it's a gatekeeping genre to begin with. So.
See, I don't really have a problem with any of that.
Neither do I.
I think that
gatekeeping is cool. No, I'm kidding.
You can't gatekeep stupid things.
But you can't.
There's a few things that it's like, all right, we should bring back bullying.
No. I think there are things that need to be kept close to the chest until like people get more committed to something, maybe. Like, I don't think, like, because here's the dumb thing. There is no such thing as gatekeeping in the world of information, right? Like, there's so many avenues to get to shit. There's no way that, like, someone can't find out about something. Like,
that's true.
I got into fucking hardcore from looking at fucking stickers that were on people's fucking guitars back in the day. And I'm like, oh, who's that band? Oh, who's that band? And I'd, jump on the internet and legally download music. But yeah, it's
So like my beef with Megadeth, like their music's boring. Like yeah, Dave Mustaine can write a cool riff, but he only plays it for 2 bars, and then he goes into some prog rock bullshit for 8 bars, and then he'll play like another cool riff for 2 bars. It's like follow through, dude.
Yeah.
Like follow through.
Yeah, either he doesn't let a riff breathe enough, or he literally lets all the air out of the riff and plays it forever.
Yes.
There's
Exactly.
no middle ground. And you know
There's
what?
no middle ground. And his voice sucks.
It's why he's not a good songwriter, in my humblest of humbly bumbly opinions. I think Megadeth needs to be kicked out of the Big Four. Just because you were there early doesn't mean you get to fucking sit at the table. Put Violence there instead. They're a much better band.
I think Violence is boring.
Wow. So that was this week's episode.
Yeah, I know you know what I think it is? I think it's the production. Like I
Really?
can't I
was gonna assume you weren't gonna like Sean Killian's voice and like his
well, that
style.
too. But I think that the production makes it harder for me to get into it. But the vocals don't help. But I think that the Big Four should be Slayer, Anthrax, Exodus, and Sepultura.
That's a good Big Four. Except I only like 2 Sepultura records, and they are they're the 90s ones. So I guess that kind of negates them in their Big Four, because there's a really really cringy thrash metal Facebook group I'm in where I just lurk and just watch, because I don't want to participate in that at all. I just really enjoy watching people argue about nonsense.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. Pause right there.
Yeah.
You don't like Morbid Vision, Schizophrenia, or Beneath the Remains?
No. I don't dude. Okay, hold on. Let me pull up, because I need to see the album art to remember which ones I've listened to.
That's why I pulled them up on my computer.
Yeah. I know.
I couldn't remember the album
The
name.
fucking band, the record titles are all goofy. Okay, look. Let's see. Yeah, Morbid Vision sounds like ass. I don't like it.
The production quality is not good, but it's a good record. You could say the same thing about Hell Awaits by Slayer.
Dude,
production quality is ass.
Yeah, and I don't like that record either.
But it's a good record. You can't argue that it's not a good record.
I don't like it. Like, I will not sit down and willfully put that record on when there's better shit to listen to. I don't like that one. I don't like Schizophrenia. Beneath the Remains is okay. Like, I'm way more about, like, Arise and Chaos AD. Those are the 2 records I like the most.
Arise was my introduction to them. Fun fact: my dad used to take me to Circuit City, and because he's a CD collector, and when I say he's a CD collector, I mean he just buys them, even if he already has it. He'd buy like 4 CDs, and he would always let me get 1 or 2.
Nice.
And I saw the cover of Arise, and I was like, "Whoa, this looks crazy."
Yeah.
Now this is like when I was like super into AC/DC and Metallica. Like that, those were my 2 the 2 bands that got me into guitar, guitar having music.
Your rockabilly.com phase.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's like perfectly described it. But so I saw this cover of Arise, and I was like, "Whoa, this looks crazy!" And I bought it, and that's still that one still is my favorite Sepultura record.
Yo, so I had a wrong purchase that way, where I went off the album art specifically. Because I had seen members of Blink-182 wearing Misfits t-shirts, and I was like, I want to go find out who the Misfits are, and I found out they were a band. So I went to, at the time, the local Coconuts, which was the CD store I went to. I think they became Sam Goody. But anyway, they...
Sam Goody.
Yeah, they were Goody. But... good night. No, they had a bunch of Misfits CDs there, and I was like, oh, fuck yeah. And I tried to pick the one with the coolest album art, and I thought that was American Psycho. So my first introduction to the Misfits was American Psycho, because they had that, and they had Static Age, Famous Monsters, and I think Collection 1 and 2. But I thought the cover art for American Psycho looked the coolest. There's some rippers on that record that are fun, but they might just be fun to me because that was my introduction to the band, and I had no idea who they were. And then I heard Static Age, and I was like, this sounds like shit. And then I grew to like it after I got older. I was like, oh no, I love that fucking, like, 70s fucking evil surf rock sound. At the time, that was not what I was looking for musically.
I know it's not cool to not like them, but I don't like the Misfits. I like Earth AD, and that's only because Jeremy will play it in the car, and it has some cool songs on it. But for the most part, I'm not a fan of them at all.
Earth Crisis's cover of that song is really good.
I'll take your word for it.
Really good. That violent, like, I don't. Have you listened to the Violent World comp, where it's just a bunch of bands covering Misfit songs, and they're like all really, really better than the Misfits?
Jordo, I just told you I don't like. Why would I listen to a Misfits cover album when I don't like the Misfits?
The same reason I listen to a fucking Beatles cover, because I don't like the Beatles, and I like to know that other bands do their music better than them.
You know, that there is something to that, because I fucking hate the Beatles, but I've never heard a Beatles cover that I didn't like.
Yeah, you know why? Because it's a kick in the penis for anybody who's like, for all 4 or 5 or however many Beatles there were, where it's like, yo, this band took your song and made it more palatable to another audience who think you're boring as shit. It's perfect.
Yeah, like I'm not a Guns N' Roses fan at all.
Ooh, neither am I.
But they covered "Live and Let Die," which I originally thought was a Beatles song. It's a Wings song,
Mm-hmm.
and that's Paul McCartney's other band.
Yeah.
Not a fan of Paul McCartney. Not a fan of any of his music.
No.
But that cover of "Live and Let Die" that Guns N' Roses did,
yeah,
it is.
It's a good song. It is a good song,
dude. It's so good. I'll play. That for me is windows down, fucking cruising.
Oh yeah.
Just jamming, "Live and Let Die," bro.
65-degree weather.
Yeah, man.
Weather music. Yeah.
Wind blowing through my hair.
Yeah.
Just fucking Shirley breathing behind me in my car. Cruising, jamming, "Live and Let Die," bro.
So, I think my favorite cover of a Beatles song is Realm. They're like a 80s thrash band. They did a cover of Eleanor Rigby. That's just full of riffs. Like,
that sounds weird.
It is. But like, it is full of riffs. And it's the best version of it. I also think that band Godhead did a really good cover of that song. There's a bunch of bands I can go down the grocery list of who did really good Beatles covers. Like, the Beatles aren't a bad band. They just bore the shit out of me.
Yeah, same. And like being a musician and like having people who are like fringe music fans be like, "Oh, the Beatles." Like, people that don't know anything about music or don't stay up with like contemporary music, talking about how the Beatles are the best band that ever existed.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you know how many bands there are?
There's
and I don't even care.
Millions.
I don't care how influential a band is. If they're that boring, shut the fuck up about them.
Well, there's also a point where like being influential gets lost by time and it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
Like, your influence may have influenced like 40 to 80 years worth of music, but like at a point it's so disconnected. Like,
yeah.
There are some of these like new rappers who are putting out pop punk records because of what they grew up on, they didn't grow up on listening to the fucking Beatles. They grew up listening to fucking Blink-182 and Boxcar Racer and Newfound Glory.
Yeah.
At a certain point in time, like, I know this is a hard thing for a lot of people to come to terms with their mortality, but there's going to be a point in time where you don't exist ever again or matter.
Yeah.
Just enjoy it. Enjoy it while you're here. But there's going to be a point where no one is going to pick up a fucking tablet or future disc or whatever it is in 100 years and be like, all right, kids, I'm going to show you the Beatles. And they're going to be like, nope, I live on Mars. I don't want to fucking listen to that. I want to listen to, Lil Nas X put out his 50th record.
Exactly.
Because by that time, yes, 100%. But no, like, I feel like I've always had such a visceral reaction to people when I tell them I don't like the Beatles. Like, and I always have to preface it with they're not a bad band. I just don't enjoy them. And I think it's like the majority, like, people who bring up the Beatles as like their band, I look at the same way of people that say like sports ball when you want to talk about sports. It's like you have the bare minimum of information of music when you're like just a Beatles fan. And I think that that kind of like visceral reaction stems from like listen to the music we listen to.
Right.
No one likes it. Like the vast majority of people, like if I if I was in a group of normal people, very well adjusted humans, and I put on Skin Ticket, everyone would look at me like, dude, you are ruining this wine and cheese dinner. Please stop it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I don't think that like people who listen to that kind of music, not our kind of music, their kind of music, they're not used to people in their circles telling them they don't like stuff. So when people start like challenging your interests and your likes, I think that's what kind of brings people to a little more of a volatile state, just because they're used to people liking it. So when they meet weirdos like us who like stupid music, they're like, I don't know. It always seems like people get really, really offended that you don't like their bands.
Specifically the Beatles.
Specific the Beatles. Like no one gets that mad over the Rolling Stones or the Doors or Jimi Hendrix. Like it's just
Jimi Hendrix gets a lot of people going. Like if you're like fucking guys that get their music shirts at Kohl's, when you tell them that you don't, if you tell them that, look, Jimi Hendrix is a great guitar player.
Yeah, 100%.
Not the greatest in the world though.
No, there's much better ones nowadays.
Probably close to it, but like that dude couldn't sweep. And I'm not saying that sweeping is like the highest regard of a guitar player, but it's like that guy wrote his style perfectly. That dude could riff in his way perfectly. Yeah. He was an incredible musician.
Yeah.
But if I hear one more goddamn fucking reggae playing, Stratocaster having, weed smoking douchebag tell me that Jimi Hendrix was the best guitar player ever, I'm gonna blow a gasket.
Dude, I mean, and that's a very particular crowd. The fucking the Caucasian reggae college scene is a fucking mess. Like, I hate ska, but boy do I fucking hate college Caucasian reggae.
Yeah.
Because it's all based out of that. It's like, I like Bob Marley, I like Sublime, I like Jimi Hendrix, I like Acid, I like Yingling. That's my band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, I got this kid that I went to high school with, he's in a reggae band, and, like, nice guy. I'm not going to see his band. Like, reggae is fine. I don't want to listen to it. Unless it's Bad Brains. I listen to the Bad Brains dub songs.
I mean, no, I listen to reggae, but it's, like, more on the ska side of reggae. Like, if I have to listen to anybody, I'm listening to, like, fucking, I'm listening to Laurel Aiken, or I'm listening to Cimarip, or I'm listening to Judge Dredd, or this Buster somebody. Fuck, I'm blanking on his name. Anyway, there's a bunch of people I would listen to if I want to listen to that style of music. I don't want to listen to a bunch of fucking dumb white kids play it.
Yeah,
that's real. That's real. Like, I don't want to say that like you can't play music because of your background or from where you're from or whatever. Like, music is music. Everyone should be able to play it. But like, it's the same reason you don't try to emulate NWA and you're from Rockville.
Exactly.
Like, you just don't. Like, there's certain styles of music that you can't like authentically do And
Right.
I think reggae is like a one that was just literally like taken, and it's been exploited by a bunch of kids who just want their bar tabs free at their local college bar.
That's true.
I don't know. I know a couple people that play in bands like that, and they are always like, "Oh, I never see you at our shows," and I was like, "Yep." Like, I'm sorry, man. We're from two totally different realms of how this shit works, and I'm not into what you do.
Like, I'll listen to Human Rights, which is HR's like reggae band.
Yeah.
I like them. And like I said, I know a lot of people that will listen to Band in DC but skip the dub songs. I listen to them because they fucking rock, dude.
Yeah. There is really, really good reggae out there. Like,
yeah,
it's just a matter of sifting through all the crap, because
yeah,
it's like any genre of music. If it's easy enough to play, enough people will make it. But there's a handful of people that will like actually do something really talented with it, or people that'll just follow the mold and go by the numbers.
Yeah.
But
I wrote a really sick dub bass line, and I want to use it for something.
Does it go bump, but a bump, 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 bump?
No.
Almost.
Almost. You almost had it. I'll record it and I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Because I've always wanted to write a dub bass line, and I finally did it.
Oh.
And I'm very proud of it. But
I did a couple for my first band, because we were joking around about doing that for an interlude for a while.
Yeah.
Because Owen was really good at writing dub bass parts. Like, frantically good at it. Like, he can write a fucking stomp part in his sleep. Like, if he wanted to just write like a hard, like, DC hardcore breakdown, instant, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, he just had this like that boy had soul in him. So he could write a little like boom, bo doom, bo doom, bo boom. Like, he'd do some weird shit, and we'd always be like, "Dude, that'd be great. Too bad we're not a reggae band." And he'd be like, "Yeah, I know, but like I could play it in the middle of..." Like, he would play his towards the later years of us being in that band, he would play he'd turn his bass down really low, and in between songs he would just play dub parts. And everyone looked fucking confused. Everybody.
that's sick.
Everybody.
I love that.
I liked it too. But no, we never thought to go be a reggae band, because that's childish and out of our wheelhouse.
I mean, like, it's not out of like the realm of possibility for a hardcore band to have that kind of shit because of Bad Brains and like Underdog.
Yeah, there's links to it. And Billy Club Sandwich.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Who are always
So
yeah. So that's the first half of this. We've been shit talking bands and colonizers trying to take reggae music.
That's right. There was one thing. I'm not gonna name the band, but like, there's this one band that everybody's like fucking over their heads about, and like the vocals just ruin it for me, dude. I can't. I don't understand.
Oh, we're back to the vocal thing.
We don't have to be. It's
That's fine. I mean,
because I don't want to. I'm not gonna say the name because I don't feel like dealing with people getting mad that I have a different opinion than them.
I mean, is your opinion wrong?
No.
Says you. Because I think if you, because in the group chat, Brendan had some really wrong opinions about certain things, and I'm not going to say exactly what they were, but he knows, and if he's listening to this, you're still wrong.
Oh, Brendan doesn't listen to podcasts, so he won't listen to
All right, well, I'm going to text him and tell him I mentioned it on the podcast. I'll send him a message in Call of Duty Warzone and be like, "Hey, kiddo, you're still wrong." Just the king of bad takes. You back?
I'm back.
Cool. Oh, did you watch that wrestling match I sent you?
No.
Oh, man.
Here's the deal.
I wanted to talk about it today because I thought it would be fun to get your reaction to watching two boys murder each other, but you need to visually see it before I can talk about it.
Okay.
Because it is... Whoa. It's so I think I sent you one video where Brody King was fighting Walter. Not Jeff Cobb, but Walter was another big boy.
Yeah.
And he's just a fucking big fucking dude.
Big boy.
Yeah, he's got, like, he's known for having, like, the loudest and biggest chop in pro wrestling. Because he just has these big Austrian hands. And he just hits people, and it makes this, like, it literally sounds like fucking sound barriers getting broken every time he fucking hits a guy.
That's sick.
Yeah, but if you get a chance to watch it,
I'll definitely make time for it. I have so many other things that I need to make time for, and I start my new job on Monday, so my time is very limited right now.
Congrats, boy! Hell
Thanks,
yeah,
man. Pretty
that's
stoked
awesome.
on it.
Oh, so you did get the job?
We did.
Sick. Congratulations.
Fully work from home, which is good because I was really worried about having to leave my dog.
Oh yeah.
It's because she's old, dude. I don't want I'm not trying to like change up her schedule that much, you know.
No, that's understandable.
And she's so used to having somebody home because like the first 6 months that we had her, Ashley was working from home and I was unemployed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Luckily, like Stewie is just. He goes with the flow. Like,
yeah.
he has a routine, but if his routine gets changed on him, he's very, like, zen about, like, cool, man. All right, things are changing a little bit around here. That's fine. And he just goes with it.
He's such a sweet dog.
He's such a sweet, nihilistic pup.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... Shit, I was going to try to talk about some wrestling stuff, but if... you haven't kept up on it, it's not gonna work.
Yeah, man, I've just been I told you I've been making my way through the MCU. I needed some comfort watch.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that.
Yeah. Wrestling's my comfort watch. Or The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Those are usually my comfort watches. But I'm right now dealing with the fucking nonsense that is WWE Network on the fucking Peacock.
Oh
thing.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm so mad. Because the sell didn't have to happen to Peacock, but whatever. Now they're editing a lot of shit and the whole fucking library isn't on there. But which, you know what? Like, I was talking to Beth about it last night, who at a certain
Sorry.
Your feed like froze for a second, so it was just like you going and then like everything froze. I was like, oh my god, he sneezed his Wi-Fi away. What strength. But no, the it just sucks because it's like if people who don't watch pro wrestling are going to be the ones deciding what goes on their platform, who don't understand it, it's going to make it to where a bunch of things seem more problematic than they are, and it's just gonna, I don't know. I'm all for things being labeled, hey, like this could be offensive. Heads up, like what they did with the Muppet Show, where it's like the Muppets aren't canceled. There's just a warning beforehand because they're like, hey, there's some subject material in this episode that might be offensive to some people.
Warner Brothers did that when they put on the Looney Tunes. They had like disclaimers, but like I think Disney was the one that was like trying to edit stuff out of like Mickey Mouse and shit, and it's like, dude, you can't salvage. You can't salvage the fact that your media was racist at the time.
No, you can't whitewash
Walt Disney was a fucking Nazi sympathizer. Like, come on.
Yeah, and
like
the fucking what was it? Like Mickey Mouse in general was built off the idea of minstrel shows.
Yeah,
so it's
exactly.
Like,
so it's like
you can't wash that away. Like that's a part of your history. Period. So you can either like
acknowledge it and move on.
Yeah. And, like, that's kind of the problem with pro wrestling, too, is, like, in some situations, the storylines are built around the bad guy being the worst, either to a woman, to a guy, to someone of a different ethnicity, to someone with a disability, something. There's an offensive aspect to it, because if there's something that the wrestler is doing as the bad guy that doesn't resonate a visceral response out of the viewer, then it's not doing its job as a medium. Now, if you put a regular wrestling match on in front of a regular person who's never watched it before, they're not going to get those nuances, and they're not going to understand it in one match. They're going to have to watch, like, what the storyline is that takes place over months. There's not a lot of really good short distance wrestling that you can do to really explain something to someone. And it's a time consuming thing. So I'm very worried that people who are going to be making these decisions aren't people that are going to be taking the time to understand those nuances, and they're just going to be like, well, someone's going to get mad over that, gone. Something's going to get mad over that, gone. I don't know. I'm worried about all the old ECW footage, because ECW was violent and offensive and in a total league of its own as a very culturally significant part of pro wrestling. But whatever. If it's gone, it's gone. Nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
On a positive note, though, I did watch Winter Soldier episode 1 and 2. Or Falcon and Winter Soldier. Got to do the whole name.
That's right.
Falcon and Winnie the Soldier.
So, I want to hear your take on it, because I have a very strong opinion on this show.
Okay.
So far. So go ahead.
The first episode is a snooze. I was bored to fucking tears through the first episode. Episode 2 definitely changed that, but it was like I sat down with like full and like, you know, here we go, another Marvel show. I'm really excited. Coming off of the fucking back of WandaVision, I had a lot of hype in me, so that's maybe my fault. But it was just boring. Mm-hmm. Like, it didn't... I felt like the episode could have been a half hour and established everything it wanted to establish in a half hour. Didn't have to be a 50-minute episode.
So how you felt during that was how I felt during the first 3 episodes of WandaVision.
Yeah, and that's fine too. I mean, I thought WandaVision was a little more intriguing as far as what was going on, but like, dude, I don't know. Like, Falcon looks like such an idiot in the first episode. And I'm like, dude, like, I need you to be a stronger fucking person right now. Like,
Yeah, I definitely think so.
He looks weak and unsure and fucking just like, I don't know if I can be the man Steve wants me to be. And I'm like,
fuck
being confident, dude. Like, just go for it.
Part of it, it's those are big shoes to fill, and Sam also doesn't have the super soldier serum in him.
Yeah,
but
neither does that jack-off football player who's Captain America now.
Well, but did Sam pick him? No, the government picked him.
Yeah, that's why it's just.
So
yeah, go ahead.
So Sam, it's like they're big shoes to fill, and he's unsure of himself. Mm-hmm. Like, that makes sense. He's also probably thinking he's got nephews at home and his sister that he needs to help out. Mm-hmm. So, like, he probably doesn't think that he can take the time to be the Captain America. Mm-hmm. But, like, you got to think about, like, during Endgame, Steve was, like, leading support groups like Sam was, like, you know, when they first met. And, mm-hmm. like, Steve saw that, you know, it takes a toll. And, like, you know, somebody that does this has to be a strong person. Steve thought it out and picked the right person. We all know that.
We all know
that.
Like,
Sam needs to know that.
Yeah.
So part of me is like, I don't think this show is written well.
No, because
I think
I don't think Bucky. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna. Well, if you're gonna keep fucking interrupting me, the Bucky portion is the best written part of the show, in my opinion. I love that he's going. I love that he's going to therapy, and I love that he's trying to deal with being himself after being the Winter Soldier for so long.
See, I think the opposite. I think that whole storyline is bullshit. Because by episode 2, where he's like, "Oh, what's rule 2?" when he's talking to the therapist, he's like, "Don't hurt anybody." She literally, from the first episode when he was like, "I want peace," she's like, "No, you don't. That's bullshit." It is bullshit. He's a soldier. He's always going to be a soldier. He literally wants to do what he does until he fucking dies. Like, you don't just flip a switch and all of a sudden you're not who you are anymore. That's a part of your DNA. And he might have a hard time coming to terms with shit, but like, I thought it was very like stupidly convenient that his neighbor buddy in the first episode happened to be the father of the guy he just decided to kill because he could. I was like, that's kind of in the first episode.
He didn't kill him because he decided he could. He was a witness, and that was him being the Winter Soldier. That was a flashback.
He didn't need to kill him.
He feels well. Of course he didn't. He was an assassin.
Yeah,
and he there was witnesses, and no loose ends. That's how Hydra works. So that makes sense. He feels guilty, and he befriended this guy because he needs to make amends with him because he killed his son.
Yeah,
and he feels guilty about it.
I get that, but like, sorry, dude, that's your fucking life. You can't feel guilty about every fucking thing you did. Like, he was a Hydra soldier. Like, there's no like amount of work that he can do to be a better person. You can try to, but like, I don't know. I think the whole like the Winter Soldier in therapy bit is like kind of hokey.
I love it because there's like high levels of nuance in there because like, yeah, he physically did these things when he was the Winter Soldier, but he was also under mind control. So it's like he wasn't consciously doing it; he was doing it against his own will.
Yeah,
but he feels the guilt of doing it because he physically did it. But it's like I think a lot of people forget that it's like he had no control over it. He was brainwashed to follow orders.
Yeah, no, I know that that was a part of it, but I don't know. I feel like the whole like seriousness of the therapy part of the storyline like took a dive when him and Falcon had that like Abbott and Costello bit in the second episode. It was funny. It was funny. Like it legitimately was because episode 2 is way more interesting because there's a little bit more humor in it, but like. There was a lot of bits in it that were like very shoehorned in, and I'm like, all right, this has such a opposite tone of the first episode.
Yeah,
I don't really know what to like. I don't think the show has found its footing.
So I agree with you. One of my biggest beefs is I do not believe that Avengers do their work pro bono. That's bullshit.
Yeah, that whole thing is just stupid.
That makes no fucking sense.
No.
Like people are like, well, who would pay for it? Like Tony Stark. Tony Stark built the Avengers compound at an old Stark facility. It was mentioned in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Like that's an old Stark facility that was repurposed to be an Avengers facility where Wanda Maximoff lived, the Vision lived.
Yeah.
At the end of Spider-Man: Homecoming, they were gonna like let Peter Parker move in there when he became an Avenger.
Yeah,
like that was their home. There's no fucking way they didn't get paid to do their shit.
Yeah,
and to act like Marvel's like acting like Sam's the only one that did it pro bono or whatever. Like what? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
No. Like, That whole aspect of it to be like, oh, well, like when he was trying to get the loan in the first episode.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
First of all, him being an Avenger should be enough reason for him to be approved for a loan.
You would think so. But evidently, not having any stable income supposedly for like 4 years. Dude, if that fucking shrimp boat that he's fighting so hard to keep in the family is like in his family name, isn't that technically a source of income regardless of it being good or bad?
I don't understand.
I don't know.
It's just
I don't really get finance either, but I'm assuming that like that business is still in his name, so that was like a big like hole that I noticed in the first episode. I was like, wait a minute, but he runs a business with his fucking family. That's technically employment. Like if you're all of a sudden saying like for the sake of this story, being an Avenger is not a job. What happened when the registration initiative happened and all of them became government employees?
Right.
So
exactly.
You're an Avenger for the
Well,
government.
there's also the aspect of Civil War where he was on the run after that.
Yeah.
So I guess that kind of makes sense. But it's like
now if they brought that up instead, if they were like, yeah, well, you were kind of a felon, like maybe, but like they brought it up in episode 2 about like them stealing the shield and being on the run and all that other stuff. And when those cops in Baltimore stopped him, I was like, oh shit, here we go. There's going to be some miscommunication here. And that whole scene kind of took me like by surprise, because I thought they were just going to arrest Falcon because he's literally been like stumbling over the first 2 episodes where it's like all this bad shit keeps happening to him. And I was like, all right, Falcon's going to get just fucked with by cops. This is going to suck. And then it ended up being Bucky, who was like, no, you actually have a warrant because you missed out on your fucking therapy. I was like, all right, that was different.
That's part of the reason I like the therapy aspect, is because it's like he pardoned from doing all this evil shit. Mm-hmm. It's contingent on him doing therapy.
Yeah, I mean that part of it, if it stays coherent, then yes, that makes sense.
In my opinion, a lot of like the race, the way they're approaching race in the United States in a show feels ridiculously ham-fisted and like out of touch
a little bit.
And I'm like, I don't understand, like, you know, because like not a single thing about Black Panther felt out of touch.
Not at all. It was so
not at all.
So well written.
It was well written. It was well done. Like it was perfectly executed.
Yeah.
And I do a little research, and also an article came out that I will share the link to, where they talk about the writers' room of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and the writers' room, and the the majority of all producers they're all white.
Oh yeah.
And so, like,
doesn't seem like it should be that way.
I read that, and I was like, well, that makes sense. That's why everything feels fucking ham-fisted. It's like, why are you guys telling this story? Like,
yeah.
Because part of, like, how they've been promoting this show is, like, it's going to take, like, a real look at race relations in the world of the Avengers. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay. And I think the only thing that they did well and the only thing that was handled well was Isaiah Bradley.
That part, yeah.
That part was incredible.
Yeah,
and like
that's the best part of the 2 episodes.
Yes, 100%. And acknowledging that there was a Black Captain America and they locked him up. Mm-hmm. Like, that was done very well, I think.
Yeah,
like,
and Bucky even saying like, yeah, I didn't tell anyone about it because he had already been through enough. Like, he knew that he had been through enough. And he's like, I'm not gonna fucking tell the world this guy exists. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was.
But it's also like sweeping him under the rug. Mm-hmm. You know,
unless they bring him back for something. Because I knew in that scene, dude, when fucking Wish App Captain America and his tag team partner were like talking about, you know, when they were trying to like convince them to be with them. As soon as Captain America's sidekick said that he was Battlestar and it set Bucky off, I was like, I recall there being a Battlestar in the comics. Let me jump to my phone real quick to you know, get myself keen on what this was, because I knew that was a thing. Went to the Wikipedias, saw that, and I was like, oh yeah, that was a thing. So I'm glad that they are like saying that yes, there was a black super soldier back then who did work with Captain America, who also took the mantle of Captain America at one point.
Yeah.
So that scene was intense. Like I really liked that scene. That scene was really good. But like,
I would like a flashback to when Bucky and Isaiah like fought. So I really hope that is not like the end of Isaiah Bradley's mention in this show, because I think that's a really important conversation that needs to be had and continued.
Well, if
like
here's
like
the thing,
when
though.
I heard
if you do you think that the way that they've been like treating the conversation of race relations in the show, do you think they're going to do that responsibly when they flash back to that scene?
Absolutely not.
I don't think so, because I don't think they're you're right about a lot of it feeling like just hand-fisted, because there's like the scene where they first show up in Baltimore and that kid is like, hey, it's the Black Falcon, and they have that whole exchange. I'm like, yo, would T'Challa do the same thing if a kid called him the Black Panther? Like, no, I don't think so, because it's a different like moniker, and that's fine if he wants to not be addressed as the Black Falcon and just Falcon. Well, that's also fine.
I think it was kind of a joke, because Falcon's the first black superhero that doesn't have black, like is one of the first black superheroes that doesn't have black in his name,
and that's totally straight. That's cool. That whole scene just seemed like it didn't need to exist, you know? Like, they could have just walked up to Isaiah's house. I don't know. It felt so forced. That was my thing about it, where it's like, if I was a dummy and I didn't think this was an actual issue, right? I'm just thinking it's identity politics bullshit. If I was one of those types, I would have been like, why did they do that? Like, but I'm not. And even seeing it, I was like, oh, that was a little, like, too
unnecessary. Yeah.
Not unnecessary, but it didn't do anything constructive to a conversation. If it's a conversation about race, they didn't really do anything. Like, he just fucking shat on a little kid and went on his day. You know? It was like, fine, that's cool, I guess, but it felt really out of place. It felt awkward. And not in like the, you know, you're being taught a lesson awkward.
Yeah. How long have we been talking?
I don't know, probably about an hour almost. But okay, where do we leave off? We were talking about
talking about
yeah. So I'm curious how the next couple episodes play out, but like right now it went from like super serious race drama to almost slapstick, like comedy on top of everything else. Like
that's kind of Marvel's thing, though. Like,
and that's fine. That's fine.
Like wacky zany in between, like super serious.
Yeah,
you know?
And I like Marvel humor. Like, that's the thing. Marvel humor is something that like I don't have an issue with. It just like it felt like the first episode had such a serious tone. I was like, oh shit, it's a DC film. Where it was like, all right, we got everyone brooding and dark and everything is super, super duper serious. And then episode 2 is just like goofy. But granted, I had more fun with the second episode.
Yeah.
I do.
Sorry, I cut you off.
Oh, I was going to say, the villain for the show, I think, is kind of stupid.
So that's another thing I have beef with. The Flag Smashers, like
such a stupid name.
Well, I don't mind that, but like, cause that's a character in the comics, so it's like I like that. It's like I don't think that the people in the Flag Smashers beefing with all of the people that are coming back from the blip.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't buy that.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good
Like
story to tell.
your energy could be somewhere could be reserved for something so much better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not these fucking people's fault that they were snapped out of existence and then are coming back.
Yeah.
Like, why are you beefing? So like, it just feels dumb. But like, when they were when the guy was introducing them, like talking about them in the first episode,
Mm-hmm.
and describing how they want, like, unity without borders. In my head, I was like, well, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, it's like, that's fine. I was okay with that part too.
But also, you got to think about the fact that Marvel Entertainment is like pro U.S. government propaganda.
Yeah.
So it's like I have enough like analytical skills to enjoy the comic book content without being blinded by the pro U.S. bullshit that gets spouted.
Yeah.
But the movie Captain Marvel was a fucking walking billboard or talking billboard for the fucking Air Force. It's like,
yeah, it was.
The government consults on how they should be portrayed in these shows,
Mm-hmm.
and it's never accurately,
No.
and it's all stupid. So of course, a fucking U.S. propaganda bullshit machine is gonna make a unifying without borders
Mm-hmm.
ideology the enemy.
Yeah.
Which is so stupid. I'm like, dude, what? Imperialism is whack. Like, come on.
Well, and the other point that they were trying to make that I thought was like really ridiculous, where they were like, "Oh man, like there's no programs for." Because what was it in episode 2? They were mad because like there were all these social programs being made to help people who came back from the blip get their lives back together, but they're pissed that they're like not doing that for people who were struggling while the blip was going on.
So
I get
so
that.
That's like an accurate and justified critique of world governments ignoring people, but it's like it's not the people from the blip's fault. It's not their fault.
No, it's
the government fault.
Yeah. It's like how people are about migrants. It's really frustrating where it's like,
yeah,
okay,
it's so
okay, yes, there are a lot of bad shit going on in the United States, and people are really struggling because there's not enough social programs for people in communities that need it. And those people aren't the people that are getting fucking mad at migrants. It's the fucking people who are fine and they're doing great and they don't need these programs who are mad at them. And that's how I feel like the Flag Smashers are those people. Like, I feel like they're not really bothered by it. They're just like, I don't want people who come back from the blip to have anything. And I'm like, I don't like that storytelling because that hits a little too close to home.
Yeah.
But you know what? So if you're going to put some reality in your Marvel, I'm fine with reality in it. Like, I'm totally fine with comic books having some reality. Like, that's why I loved Civil War so much, because Civil War had a lot of reality put into the superhero world. Not the movie, the comic book series. The movie's good too, but the comics, like, it was one of the first times they kind of were like, well, you gotta regulate them. Why haven't we yet?
It's good. I think I like the movie better than I like the comic.
I don't know. I was a mark and I bought every single thing Civil War. I bought all the side stories. I bought comic series that like led into it, fell out of it. Like I think I have an almost 100% complete run of everything revolving around Civil War from that period of time. But you're right. Like the story that was told in the movie was way more concise than reading over 100 issues of comics.
That's what I meant. Like,
but
because I love Mark Millar, but sometimes his ideas can get kind of wacky zany and like out there.
Yeah.
Like the Old Man Logan comic is not the best piece of written material I've ever read. So it's like,
it's good.
So like I like how Marvel Studios will take like a story and then adapt it to fit their movie world. I really appreciate how good they are at doing that. But like, yeah, this show feels really ham-fisted, and I think it's like the writers' room is a real missed opportunity.
Yeah.
So
I didn't.
like,
I mean, I didn't
like,
know
I'm
it was an
excited.
all-white writers' room. That
Yeah,
that
dude.
being
Like
that being
I
the
didn't.
case.
Like I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share the fucking article that I read,
Yeah.
and like you can read it, and like it's like, whoa, these guys are like the people are. They seem very out of touch. So
Yeah.
it's like
Well, that was the
it's really
problem.
disappointing, man.
Yeah, because it's
And
a
like
missed opportunity, and we were talking about how in WandaVision there's bad optics with certain things, and it's like if you're not going to
yeah,
include, like when Proton jumped in front of the or Photon, sorry, when Photon jumped in front of the kids to take a bullet for him,
yes,
regardless of that being your superpower, that still looks fucking bad to get gunned
it looks
down by
really
fucking
bad.
cops. It's like, dude, you gotta have representation on your writing staffs, or when you tackle these issues, it falls flat on its face. Like you can't
Yeah.
have like. There's the joke all the time about like, oh yeah, you know, nothing gets more progressive than two white dudes talking about race. You know,
Yeah.
like there's no
Yeah, like,
there's no
this-
accountability or representation in there. You know, it's something that needs to be
100%.
needs to be done with other people that are involved in said issues. So for
Yeah.
for I didn't know that about Falcon and Winter Soldier, but now that I do, it makes a whole fucking lot more sense
Yeah, dude.
why some of this
So-
just falls
so-
flat.
So I don't want it to sound like I'm not enjoying the show. Like I'm excited to see the story play out. I told you I really like the aspect of the Winter Soldier going through therapy. I like that. I loved inclusion of Isaiah Bradley. I really hope that's not all we get out of it.
It probably
And
will
I'm
be.
really, yeah, I know. And I'm also very excited to see Sharon Carter return, and I'm really excited to see Zemo. Like
that what made me want to watch episode 3 more
Yeah.
than the shitty Captain America reveal did make me want to watch episode 2. Like that was because again,
Dude, and-
Falcon looks like such an idiot on this show. It's like they
Yeah.
don't want him to look like he's capable of making intelligent decisions.
Well, and that's another thing I liked about episode 2 was Bucky hounding him. Like, that's not what Steve wanted. Like,
Yeah.
Steve picked you for a reason.
Yeah.
Like Bucky is like they have a tumultuous relationship, but Bucky knows damn well why Steve chose him.
And not
Like,
him.
Buzz, like, yeah, exactly. Bucky's like, he picked you,
Yeah.
and like,
And you just gave
and
you
like,
gave it away.
and it completely makes sense that Bucky would be insulted that Sam would do that because, like, you know, Bucky's in grief, like he misses Steve.
Yeah.
You know, like, so
And seeing this other jackoff running around pretending to be him, like that whole conversation in the Jeep where he was like, "Look,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be Steve." I'm like, "That's a weird ex conversation, bud." Like,
Yeah.
like that felt a little weird, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's the angle they're going." But like
yeah,
the fact that Bucky is so adamantly like, "You don't deserve that." Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing you did to deserve that. He's right.
Yeah.
He's 100% right.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't know the story of Falcon and Winter Soldier was going to be like Falcon trying to get his fucking confidence, because
yeah.
that wasn't what I was expecting. I was honestly expecting.
Well, that's not how they set us up in Endgame. Endgame was
He took it. He's
you
like,
know,
I'll make you
Steve
fucking proud.
gave him. Yeah, that's exactly where they like. Where did this show come from? Like,
Yeah.
Endgame.
Did someone
He-
not watch
you know,
Endgame?
Steve is like, how does it feel? And like, you know, Falcon's like it's somebody else's. And when Steve goes, it's not. And you know, and Falcon's like, I'll do my best to make you proud. And Steve shakes his hand and says, I know you will. That's why it's yours.
Yeah.
That tee up. Where did we get that first episode from?
yeah,
Like, from that tee up. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah, you're telling me that like 2 years go by, or 1 or 2 years since Endgame happened, and in between that time, he hasn't once used it. He hasn't thought about being Captain America. Not even thinking about being Captain America, but thinking about being Captain Falcon, or just being Falcon with the shield as a representation of what Steve had worked for his entire life, right? No, he doesn't attempt to use it at all. That opening sequence, he doesn't have the shield with him. Shield's somewhere else. He's just flying around doing his normal Falcon shit. And, man, like, it's just such a weird shift in the narrative that we got from the end of Endgame. And, like, I don't understand where he went from, like, I'm going to do you proud to, I'm not good enough. I can't do it. I don't think I can. I don't think I could be Captain America. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trust the government and give them the shield because I know they won't do anything with it. No.
So yeah, like, and
he looked like an idiot in that episode.
I agree. And people are saying that a better story and a more likely story would have been the government trying to apprehend the shield from him.
Way better.
Like, that would have been a way better story to tell and more likely. But we did just talk about how the government influences how they write these shows, and I bet they nixed that. They were like, no, we wouldn't do that.
Yeah, well, so that theory there also kind of falls to the wayside when they're like, well, we took that from you and we shoehorned in a replacement. So the government still looks bad in this situation too, because they didn't uphold their side of their agreement of being like, yeah, it's going to be in a museum. Psych! We're giving it to this guy. Because, like, they've shown in plenty of Marvel content that when it comes to vibranium, they don't play around with that shit, and they want it as weapons, like, period. You know? Like, they did that with Vision. Vision's made of vibranium. Yep. They wanted him to be a fucking weapon. The shield is made of vibranium. They want it to be a fucking weapon. If Wolverine was fucking made of vibranium instead of adamantium, they'd want him as a weapon.
Yeah, so it's like there's a lot of missed opportunities. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense. Like I said, I'm excited to see how it plays out. I'm gonna watch the whole show.
Me too.
Nothing has made me go, I'm not watching this fucking show anymore. Ooh. But it's just like,
you do know a logic point that did make zero sense to me. Where
what?
So in episode 2, when Bucky was talking about taking people out and getting the shield back, and Falcon had to be really adamant about, like, we're not assassins, and being, like, really, like, mad about his idea of just taking people out. Yo, he killed 12 people in the first episode.
Yeah.
That helicopter crash didn't just magically make people just live. I counted. I was like, yo, how many people is Falcon gonna kill in the opening sequence of the show?
Out of all of the Avengers, like, if you watch Winter Soldier, Civil War, like, Falcon's shooting, he's murking dudes, and it's like, that's gonna be your beef, really? Like especially because you mentioned 12 people in the first episode. Like,
yeah, maybe more. I don't know how many people were on that helicopter still, but, like, he made a helicopter crash into a wall. He kept knocking people in their fucking squirrel parachutes down to the fucking ground. He did kill people, and they were trying to kill all the fucking super soldiers too. So that part of the narrative makes no goddamn sense.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if you kill people, it's fine, but Bucky can't because he's in therapy? Like, get the fuck out of here. It's stupid.
Yeah, so it's like, there's a lot of stuff that is ham-fisted and doesn't make sense. So I don't have, like, high hopes for how this show's going to end up, but I'm still going to watch it, and I don't want any of these criticisms to sound like I'm not enjoying it. It's kind of pissing me off.
I want my criticisms to be on the table to know that, like, I am disappointed in the direction of the show based off of it not making sense for the characters that are involved, and it felt like they wanted to tell a story. It's like Joker. You wanted to tell a story, but you want a superhero to be in it. It's not. It's the thing that DC does. They want to use a character. They want to use a character, but they don't know the nuances of the character to make it make sense to their story. When they could have just made a story sans the character. This is one where Marvel knows their characters, and they're making a story without them in mind. That's what's making me irritated. Like,
can we just pause for a second? I hated Joker.
Yeah,
I hate that fucking movie. Oh, let's remake Taxi Driver, but we'll paint you as a clown and it'll be better. No. Yeah. It was worse.
I'll tip my
Taxi Driver is Taxi Driver is a great movie. Like,
It is.
Pacino's character is not somebody you should idolize. The Joker is not somebody you should idolize.
Nope.
And like,
People do every day though.
they're all fucking dorks, dude. Like, Joker, it made that character redeemable. And I understand this is an Elseworld. Like, they acknowledge it. It's an Elseworld story. So it's like, it's not the main DC timeline. It's a different timeline, and that's fine and good. The Joker is not a redeemable character.
No.
He is crazy and merciless for the sake of being crazy and merciless.
Yeah.
And anybody that praises that fucking movie does not understand the character or doesn't care. And that's the thing, dude. I've told you guys know. Everybody knows. I'm a DC head, so it's like DC
Wait, you like
comics
DC?
Dude, I love DC.
Oh.
It's just that movie. The existence of that movie makes me so mad. Todd Phillips just wanted to remake fucking Taxi Driver, and he wanted to make $1 billion. So he was like, "Oh, it's the Joker." Yeah, like DC Comics Joker. It's him. No, it's not.
Yeah, no, it's
the political commentary that the movie was trying to do was also ham-fisted.
Yep.
Not done well. Like, sure, there's like some good cinematography in the movie, and it's like, sure, it's like a well-made movie and it's well scored, but it still fucking sucked.
Yeah. Dude, you are that meme that you were sharing yesterday. Frank watches a critically acclaimed movie. Haha, it sucks.
It's funny because I tweeted about how shitty Joker is, and then I also was tweeting about how shitty Batman Returns is, and that's when my friend made that meme in response to it.
I still fight for the early Batman movies are still more fun
Dude,
than the new ones.
Batman 89, incredible movie.
Batman Returns,
Batman Forever,
super fun movie.
Yeah.
Batman Forever, fun movie. Batman and Robin, the funnest Batman movie.
It's true.
It's the funnest.
Batman and Robin is so fun, and it's endlessly rewatchable.
Yeah.
Oh, my sister is a real big early Batman head, and she said if we ever did an episode where we talked about it, we should have her on, and I would be down.
I'm fine with that. Yeah. If we, you know what, we could do a special episode where we just talk about the first 4 Batman movies.
I'm fine with that.
The good Batman movies.
See, okay, I want to get this out. I'm sorry. We've mentioned Batman Returns. It's not.
You don't want to save this for the special episode?
No.
Okay, go ahead.
It's Tim Burton's vision of Batman. It's not a Batman. It is idea of what the Batman is and like the characters. Like Penguin and Catwoman are not like they're not comic book accurate. And yes, this was a time when they didn't care about being comic book accurate.
Yeah.
But like it's dumb. And you know what? I'll save the rest of that tirade for that special episode. But it's like that movie sucks.
Yeah,
it's bad.
I mean, it's it's not the best, but boy howdy do I enjoy it.
Sure. And dude,
and honestly, that's how I am with a lot of stuff, where it's like, did I have fun watching that? Yes or no? And my enjoyment of film or movies or anything is like, if I had a good time, it was worth my time. If I'm sitting here just pissed off or bummed out, like when I watched that movie, We Care a Lot, I want those 2 hours of my fucking life back, because that movie just made me mad for 2 hours. It was not a good movie.
I Care a Lot?
Yeah,
I
Care
a
Lot.
Movie?
Yeah, the Netflix
Dude, that movie was infuriating.
I was so angry the whole time. Like, every aspect of that movie made me furious. One, knowing that shit happens to elderly people. That part made me fucking mad. Then, when I realized, that real world serious fucking problem is just a backdrop and an afterthought because this director wanted to make a fucking caper movie about a fucking Russian diamond heist. And it's never really talked about again what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Like, so fuck that movie, fuck that director.
The last 5 seconds were very sasatisfying.
No, even that wasn't satisfying. I'm mad that that's the way that movie ended too. Like, even her getting fucking... Yeah, even... I'm... Spoiler. Fuck this movie. even the fact that that guy killed her at the end was still like promoting this like fucking misogynist message, because he was like he was like, oh, you fucking bitch, like the whole fucking time. You know, he's running around with a red hat on. Like, they painted him to be a certain way, and then for him to be the one that shoots her down at the end of the movie, they were still like promoting that bad, like, they were still painting him in the light as a bad person. They were like, well, the guy that kills her at the end also has to look like a bad person. And I'm like, dude, this woman is doing the worst crime to elderly people that you could do. Like, why does that whole movie wanted me to feel bad for her, and I don't.
Well, no, it didn't want you to feel bad for her.
No, it did. It did. No, it did. The half point of that movie. Sorry, this movie made me so angry. Like,
me too. But like, the seeing her get shot at the end was so. It wasn't satisfying enough to excuse the 2-hour length of the movie. I definitely don't ever want to watch it again. I'm not happy that I watched it.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of relief at the end of all this horrible shit, because it's like, she's like, I'm just getting started. No, you're not, because you're dead!
I still think that she got off too fucking easy. Like, for the amount of horrible shit she did, death was too good for her. She should have been fucking exposed. Like, there should have been, like, some shit going down. She should have went to prison for the rest of her fucking life. Like,
I agree. I agree with that 100%. And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It wasn't satisfying enough to excuse all of the awful shit that happened in the movie, but it was very satisfying for her to be, like, on the rise to this, like, successful, empire. Well, and then just, boom, donezo.
There's a part, because I was talking to someone else about it, and I was like, did I miss a point in this movie where something happened that made her redeemable? Because when the second act starts, she's the hero.
Yes,
I don't know where I missed, because I sat there furiously watching this movie, and I'm like, I didn't miss anything. It's just all of a sudden the narrative switches to where, like, well, now she's gonna get revenge. And I'm like, fuck her! She's still a bad person, regardless of what's going on. I don't feel bad for you.
The tone shift and, like, painting her as, like, a protagonist in the second half of the movie is like this. I don't want her to get I don't want her to get redemption on this guy. I just want to see her get beat up and then die because she's a horrible person.
Well, and the part that, like, made me, like, the most angry was when she was talking to the mother in the old folks home, right where, like, she was set up in front of that camera, and she wanted her to come over and choke her so she could be like, see, she's a yada yada. That scene made me really mad because she told this old woman that she's going to do whatever she can to take everything away from her. And she already did. And her intention was to do so prior to her finding out that she was with the Russian mob, and her son, the Dink, decided he was going to fucking kill her. Like, you're saying it like it's a threat, like you're the hero, but this was your intention literally from the beginning. And, like, me and Beth were watching it together, and, you know, she bless her heart, she fell asleep through half of it, so I had to sit there in anger by myself.
Me and Ashley watched it together, and we were both seething the whole time.
God. But, like, there was one of the parts she was still awake for was when the doctor got murdered. And she was like, oh, man, that sucks that the doctor got murdered. And I just turned to the side, and I was like, fucking why? Like, she's been handing her these people for years. And now all of a sudden she's like, this one's super special. I want a piece of the pie. Guess what happens when you get a piece of the pie in that line of work? Some bad shit happens. I didn't like that. Die. I didn't like the fucking lawyer they sent. Like, that whole bit was a cartoon to me. Like, that I don't understand how that like, I can't remember the actress's name, but the actress that played the main character, she acted great in this movie, right?
Oh yeah,
she's great.
Have you seen Gone Girl?
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
But Gone
she's
Girl,
incredible in that movie.
Gone Girl, she plays that part, I feel, way better because the writing's better. And I do want to see her beat the shit out of people in that movie. In this movie, I'm just like, why? Why does this happen? Like and that was the hard part. Everything kept escalating every 10 minutes to where I was like, all right, well, I gotta see what happens next. It was just, ooh, boy.
Also, I wanted to go on record. The Dink, he's great in the movie.
Yeah, he's the best part of the movie.
Movie's not good. He's the best part of the movie. And, like, I'm just such a big fan of his.
I just really like that every time he was eating when he was like about to fucking explode. He was always angry as shit, eating an eclair.
And he would like he threw his smoothie at the guy.
Oh god, that was great.
I love him, and he was the reason I wanted to watch the movie because I love him so much. Yeah, but, that movie was fucking infuriating.
Infuriating garbage, and fuck the writer and director for wanting to like shine a light on a real world problem and then exploit it for some fucking stupid caper movie.
Yeah, shit was infuriating. That movie made me so mad.
So mad. But a movie that I watched that didn't. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was gonna say it's nice that we do have that in common, that we could talk about it and realize you'd seen it.
Well, dude, fucking, there are people that when I was looking up because I wanted to make sure I'm not stupid. I wanted to look up reviews to make sure that other people are mad at this movie too. And there are people that are like, she's such a strong lead character. This was such a good movie, and like, still painting her as the hero. And I'm like,
yeah,
how do you paint this person as a hero in any facet? Like, if you watch this movie and think she's the good guy, fuck you. Like,
fuck you.
Fuck you.
100% if you think she's the good guy.
No one's a good guy. The Dink is not a good guy in the movie. He's fucking trafficking women. Like, he's a shithole. Fucking, she's taking advantage of people with her cop girlfriend who is getting fucking court records to figure out these people are all on their own. Like, there's a whole system. Fuck the judge too.
Yeah, exactly.
There's not one redeemable person in that whole entire fucking movie.
Except the guy that kills her at the end.
No, even him. Fuck him too. All of them. Anyway, but a few nights ago, I watched a really goofy ass movie called The Man Who Killed Don Quixote.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
Dude, you should really check it out. It's shit, I cannot remember the guy's name. It's the director from Brazil. Shit, hold on. Brazil movie. Who was the director? Why can't I think? Oh, Terry Gilliam. It's a Terry Gilliam movie. Apparently, have you ever seen Brazil?
I have not.
Okay, it's a weird, like, surrealist movie. But he's made a bunch of like really surrealist, strange movies. I'll read some off to you since I don't think you know who.
Oh shit! He wrote. He was one of the writers on Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah. He's known for more movies than that.
The Meaning of Life.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yep. Yeah, he's made. He also did The Fisher King, 12 Monkeys, and Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
12 Monkeys. I really didn't like Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but
it's a fun movie.
12 Monkeys is in my list on HBO Max. I'm gonna watch it.
He did Time Bandits too, and The Brothers
Grimm. He wrote the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, which was the last Heath Ledger movie that ever came out.
Oh, it wasn't Dark Knight? I'm kidding.
It was released posthumously.
Yeah. Humanely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. Oh, he directed Monty Python and the Holy Grail, too. He didn't just write it.
Yep. So, but yeah, so
That's a great movie.
this movie, the lore behind it is that Terry Gilliam wanted to make this movie in the 90s with Johnny Depp. And legend has it that they were filming on holy ground, and every time they were going to film something, it would start raining. And it just kept fucking up production left and right. All these problems happen. There's a documentary about him trying to make this movie over the years and how many times it's failed. So this time around, he ends up making it with Adam Driver. So he finally got the movie out. Yeah, love me some Adam Driver. He's a handsome man. But he
I'm one of those people. I'm one of those people that thirsts after Kylo Ren. He's so hot.
Nice. But yeah, so he's in this movie, and the plot is that Adam Driver is a film student who goes to where is it? He goes to Spain, and he wants to try to do like independent film. He doesn't have any money, so he tricks a bunch of locals into being cast members of his film. And some weird shit goes on. He films it, yada yada yada. He leaves, comes back years later, and he's working for like some insurance company. And the insurance company's like, well, we got to shoot a commercial, yada yada yada. And he's like, oh, I got the perfect place. We can go over here. We could do this. And he goes over there to go shoot this commercial, and he comes to find out that some of the people that he had been working with from his student film years ago are mentally trapped in the characters that they were playing in his student film, which was about Don Quixote. And this old man, who still thinks he's Don Quixote, thinks that he's Sancho Panza, and they go on a bunch of crazy misadventures. And it's bizarre because it keeps weaving in and out between, like, is what Adam Driver's seeing reality? Is it fucking him hallucinating? Is it fake? Is it the spirit of Don Quixote that's fucking him up? It's a weird movie. And it's a movie that, like, it ended, and I didn't know if I liked it or not, and I sat there for a few minutes, and I was like, yeah, I think I did. I don't know how many movies you've seen that way, where like the credits start rolling and you're like, I don't know, but that was a movie.
That's kind of how I felt about I Care a Lot, because like the whole build up to the end, I was like this movie ends positively for her. What the fuck? And then the guy showed up at the end, and he only shot her once. But like when he shot her, I'm sitting on the couch, my hands go up like this. I was like, yeah.
I see when he shot her, I just was like, oh, good, this movie's fucking over. that was my response.
Upon reflection after that, I was like, that movie sucked. I don't ever need to see it again. But I do like that part because it's satisfying to watch her meet her end, because she's such a terrible person.
Like I said, I think it would have been a much more interesting tell in that movie if it was the legal system that destroyed her, not some dude in a parking lot. But in order for that to happen, the person writing it has to be good at what they're doing. And you can't always get what you want, or whatever that Beatles song is. I'm kidding.
What you want.
I don't know who made that song. Who cares?
Rolling Stones, baby.
Who?
Well, the single Rolling Stones.
Yeah. What did they ever do?
I don't think they wrote it. I think it's just their version that's the most popular.
Probably. They probably stole it from some musicians, like a lot of those bands did.
Most likely.
I know Zeppelin did.
Elvis, all of his songs were fucking Motown covers.
Yeah, all of them.
I'm team fuck Elvis, okay?
Punctuation and phrasing is important. I'm team fuck Elvis.
Fuck Elvis.
Fuck Elvis.
Let's see. Movies that, like, let's end on a positive note.
Yeah, I watched a movie this episode's been really negative if you think about it as a whole.
It really has.
It's been shit talking the Beatles, a shitty movie.
Okay, we don't need to review the whole episode, Jordo. I watched a movie over the weekend. I was on a real Ben Affleck kick.
Sorry, Scout wanted to come in. Scouty.
You're good. Hi, Scout.
Come here.
I was on a real Ben Affleck kick, and I watched a movie called The Way Back, and it's about Ben Affleck's character is an alcoholic. His child died of cancer.
Ooh.
His marriage ended because of his child dying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's called The Way Back. So it's like obviously he starts coaching this basketball team, and like it gives him a reason. It gives him purpose, a newfound purpose.
Okay.
And it just ends really positively. It was a really nice watch. And Ben Affleck himself suffers with alcoholism, and his marriage to Jennifer Gardner ended not well.
Yeah.
Around the time Justice League came out,
Mm-hmm.
they parted ways, and I think a lot of it had to do with his alcoholism.
Probably.
And it's nice to see him win because the movie was really good.
And you still haven't watched Reindeer Games. I told you to watch Reindeer Games last time.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
I was like, here's a fun Ben Affleck movie, and you're like, I'm gonna watch the saddest shit instead.
Well, I actually watched this movie before we recorded the last episode.
Oh, okay,
so I'm just bringing it up because it's a very positive movie, and
that's
it's like, yeah, like just the ending was nice. I was like, oh, good for him.
We should end with nice. There's a little like I said. I think this episode was more negative than it needed to be.
Yeah.
But whatever. If it calls for it, it calls for it.
I think we're all just tired.
Yeah, for real.
All right. So this has been Adult Crash episode 5. Please remember to subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. We got an Instagram, Adult Crash Podcast. We also have a Twitter now.
Oh God.
That is at Adult Crash Pod, POD. Same as our Gmail, Adult Crash Pod.
Same as
at gmail.com
of the 2000s.
What's the song? Boom, ready or not? Haha.
Yeah,
how you
that
like
one.
me now? Let's say boom. Here comes the boom. Yeah,
dude. So remember when I sent you that flyer for that fucking new metal concert in Wisconsin?
Yes, I remember that.
I might go.
Dude, don't do that. Don't do it.
I know.
At least get vaccinated before you go.
Oh no, I totally will. But like, dude, getting to see Limp Bizkit and Snoop Dogg in the same day.
That actually does sound pretty cool.
It does. It does. And like, I kind of feel weird. Like I assumed that me busting my year of no shows cherry was going to be in like an outdoor like grind show with like 10 people.
Yeah,
but it'd be kind of dope if it was seeing Limp Bizkit and Snoop Dogg.
It's true.
It could be.
I wouldn't trust any of the people going to that to be,
Absolutely not.
But so anyway, this has been episode 5 of the Adult Crash Podcast. Please let us know how you feel. Do you like it when we go negative? Is it more entertaining to listen to?
You know it is.
It probably is, but I don't know. Now that you say that, I'm kind of like, well, now I'm sad because we went so negative.
Look, the last couple of episodes, I feel like we were very positive. We were due for a negative episode. Both of our bodies hurt, so we're a little grouchy, grumpy old men right now.
Very grouchy. I had to work outside for the last 2 days.
So like, it's... You ain't gonna get no fluff, no phony nonsense. We're in a bad mood. We're gonna fucking talk like we're in a bad fucking mood.
That's right.
And I'm not saying
Hail
that's
Pacino.
all the time. Hail fucking Pacino. Hooah!
Hail Pacino. Hooah!
We need that on a shirt or a mug. But
yeah, same.
Get that on a hat. Next time Edgeman does a sale, we'll just get Hail Pacino hats made. Just a picture of his face over a pentagram. Hail Pacino.
I love it. But so this has been episode 5. Let us know what you think. Reach out via our social media. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Talk shit. Do what you can. Interact. Algorithm. Feed it.
That's right.
All right.
Hail Pacino.
Peace. Hail Pacino.
All right. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you.